Welcome to our tutorial on creating web pages with HTML. In this module, we'll explore the basic principles of web documents and the HTML language. You'll learn how to create an online resume web page using basic HTML code, such as paragraph and heading tags. And then we'll show you how to create a slightly more sophisticated page using Microsoft Word. HTML stands for Hypertext Markup Language. Essentially, it's a code that describes how text and images will be displayed by a web browser. It's not a programming language per se, but rather a tagging language. It applies tagging conventions that are then interpreted by the browser and converted to text and images. HTML is controlled by the World Wide Web Consortium, which you can find at www.w3.org. Setting standards means that developers around the world will be applying the same set of conventions when developing HTML pages, which provides consistency for users worldwide. So what does HTML code actually look like? Just go out onto the web, to any web page. We happen to be at redcross.org. Go up to View and select Source. This will pop up a notepad window that will actually show you the HTML code for that particular web page. Looks rather confusing, doesn't it? Well, as we'll see in a few minutes, it's really not all that confusing. No sophisticated tools are necessary to develop HTML documents, since they are merely text files. Any text editor, such as Notepad, which comes with Windows, is sufficient for development. Of course, a working knowledge of HTML is required. HTML Goodies is an excellent website to begin learning about HTML. If you go down under the Primers section and click on HTML, you'll be taken to a page designed for novices. As they say, if you know nothing about HTML, this is where you want to start. There are 7 different sections that gently take you through an introduction to HTML, including how it was developed and the basic workings of HTML. It's written in a very user-friendly style that anyone can understand. After you get done working through the primers, go over to the tutorials and work through those. I'll click on Getting Started. The Getting Started tutorial provides you with specific examples of code that you want to use in your web pages. It's organized by topic. We'll go into the text alignment section. When you go into these specific lessons, it will show you exactly the code you need to use to do whatever it is you want to do. For instance, getting text to wrap around an image. This is the code that you would use, and as we see down below, it gives you an example of what happens when you use that code. We have an image with the text wrapped around it, right aligned. You can poke through these lessons and find almost anything you need to do with HTML code. HTML documents are composed of sections called elements. An element is a block of text that's designed to conform to the HTML-approved syntax. The browser will recognize it as an HTML document and display it in accordance with HTML standards. Each element is marked with tags. Tags are assigned to elements and provide your browser with guidelines on displaying the text and images that they accompany. Tags come in pairs, and they are enclosed in greater than, less than brackets. An opening tag indicates the start of an element. The closing tag looks just like an opening tag, except it has a backslash in front of it and indicates the end of an element. Tags are used for various things, including formatting, such as bold, font size, and underlining, and for positioning elements on a web page. The basic HTML document contains 3 sections. One is the HTML section, which you always start the document off with, and then have an ending tag. And that indicates to the browser that this is an HTML document. The head section contains information that is not displayed in the browser viewer window, such as keyword search terms. The title is found in the head section. That's text that's going to be displayed in the title bar of the browser window when you open it up. The main section is the body, This contains all the text and graphics and images that are to be displayed in the browser viewer window. This is where you will put all the content that you want your users to see. When you're learning HTML, it's a good idea to start with the basic text information that you need. We've placed it in Notepad here. We're creating a fictitious resume here for Jeremy Johnson. We've got his contact information, his job objective, his educational background, and his work experience. So at this point, we're ready to start adding tags. Now, in every document, you need to define the HTML element, so we might as well do that right off the bat. And all of this information we've put in here we'll want displayed, so we need to put that in the body element. Now, we don't want to forget to end these elements, so we'll need the closing tag for each one of them. So we'll insert them there. And now we're off to a good start. We want the name and contact information to stand out, so we want it to be a bigger font than the rest of the document. Therefore, we'll define it as a header. Header tags come in 6 different levels, which are 6 different sizes of fonts. They're all bigger than regular text. We want the name to be the biggest, so we'll use that as a header 1 tag. Then, for the rest of the information, we'll use a slightly smaller font. We'll use a header 3 tag. We'll just make life easier here and copy that and paste it because the tags need to be on each line that we want to appear as a header. Now, don't forget we have to do the closing tags for each line too, and we'll copy them in a similar way. Now, when the browser sees this information, it'll display the information between these header tags with the appropriate header font. This text will be displayed in a larger font size than the rest of the document. Now, for paragraphs of information, we merely enclose those in paragraph tags. So everything between the P tag and the \P tag is considered one paragraph. This will be displayed in the standard paragraph font for the document. You can nest tags within each other. The word objective we'd like to appear bold and underlined, so we need to put the bold tag on it as well as an underline tag. And the browser will apply both of those tags to the document. So now we've got a paragraph defined. All of the words will be in a normal, unbolded, ununderlined font, except for objective, which is now within both an underline tag and a bold tag. For paragraph spacing, you use blank paragraph tags with no text in between them. Now, I would say we want 2 lines in between our contact information and our first paragraph, so we insert the tags with no text between them, like that. And between the objective and the education, we probably also need a space, so we'll insert a tag there too. We've finished adding tags to our document. We've put in all our paragraph and other formatting tags. You'll notice that we've bolded and underlined education and work experience also. So now we're ready to save our document. We've saved it as finish.htm. Make sure you give it an HTML or HTML extension. That way the browser will recognize it as an HTML document. So now that we have saved it, we should test it in our browser and see how it displays. If we open up Internet Explorer, we go to File, Open, and find where the document is, where you saved it. And just click on Open, and it'll open in the browser, and we can see if it comes out the way we wanted it. You'll notice that Jeremy's name is in the largest font, which we wanted, closely followed by his contact information, and that's all larger than the font size for the rest of the document. Objective, education, and work experience are all underlined and bolded, and we seem to have the appropriate spacing between the paragraphs. Now, wasn't that easy? So, what if we didn't want to go to the trouble of learning HTML? Well, if you already know Microsoft Word, you can put together a resume. We've got Jeremy's picture in here now, right as a Microsoft Word document. You'll notice it looks pretty similar to the one we created from HTML. Well, this is a Word document, but we've got an option in Word to save it as HTML. So you go to the File menu and do a Save As. The type of document we want to save it as is a web page, filtered. Filtered is very important because what Microsoft Word will do is take out any conventions that are used in Word that are not supported by HTML. You'll notice it's saving it with an HTML extension, which is fine. And it's going to take off the Office-specific tags, which also is fine, so we'll say yes. And now we've got it saved as an HTML document, so it is an HTML document. Now, to check how it looks in the browser, we'll just pull up Explorer and open the file. We saved it as jeremyjohnson.htm. Say OK. And this is how it will look when someone pulls it up on the web. Now, wasn't that simple? And we didn't have to know any HTML at all. We just had to know how to use Microsoft Word. HTML is not a difficult language to learn, as it merely involves memorizing the correct tags and using them appropriately. But for the creation of simple web pages, you can just use Microsoft Word, and you won't have to worry about memorizing any of the tags or learning any new HTML skills.